Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. By my calculations, it is just 1 minute after 8 o'clock on the 24th of February, Saturday, 24th of February. We didn't get a Friday night live, so we do a Saturday night live because there were some issues that we allowed to pass in the public space. We wanted to see what Trinidad was going to do with some of the things that Keith Rowley said in La Joqueta. We didn't want to interrupt the normal flow. We didn't want to interrupt what people took away from that event in La Joqueta Talparo. I wanted to see what Trinidad and Tobago was going to do with that whole stunt, that whole circus. Because there's some stuff we have to address. And as usual, it redounds to me to interpret Keith Rowley for the public. Faris Al-Rawi said that we misunderstand Keith. When Keith says yes, we don't really understand what Keith's saying when he says yes. So when Keith Rowley said yes, there are ISIS cells in Trinidad, he meant according to Faris, in the broader perspective as if he meant no. So I didn't want to jump in the fray. I wanted to give Trinidad, the media, especially social media, the opportunity to weigh in on the key takeaways from the stunt in La Joqueta on Thursday the 22nd. The name of this video is The Right Thing. And if there is a single PNM supporter after we discuss the right thing according to Keith Rowley tonight, Trinidad look for what it get. I'm telling you. Spread the word. You know we here.
We're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. Ready.
Wake them up.
Ready. 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 We're ready.
Time Rowley and Faris.
Yeah, we're ready. Ready.
They're going to want to hear this
Ready.
first time.
Ready.
Spread
Look how
the
the sun
word.
now raising up and the crowd now waking up. The atmosphere have vibes and nothing can break it up. The girl them a wine non-stop. We are the drinks them in a my cup.
We gonna party all night, Saturday.
24 parties we hit in a row. Tonight at the very last show. Before we are out on the road, the girl them a release the load. So let me see your hands up so. Everybody know, put your hands up so.
If you're ready for the road, your friend them know.
We're ready for the road.
Orange Army, gaining momentum. And you're feeling it, Rowley. And just we singing La Joqueta. Come now, man. Breathing on me.
So we're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. We're ready. We're ready.
Cheer it up, cheer it up, cheer it up.
We're ready. We're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready.
Call them
We're
out.
ready. We're ready. We're ready. The girl them a wait all week to get up on the road like free. The music full of applause with thousands of chipping feet. Everywhere you look is just food and everybody in a real nice mood. We gonna party all night, all night. Everyone with painted body, clean credit and tainted money. Nobody want to dance by themselves. Everybody wanna dance on somebody. Well, let me see your hands up so. Everybody know put your hands up so. If you're ready for the road, let your friend them know. We're ready for the road. We're ready for the road. So we're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. 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 We're ready.
Plenty people want to know why is Jam CNC3 so hard. My good friend Daniel Francois asked me today, why are you giving Ymer and Kisun so much licks? Hema know why she getting the licks she getting. And I'll stick a pin in it now, you know, because she get enough licks. But Hema allowed her show to become a stunting show. Hema sold her integrity, whatever little bit of journalistic ethics that she had. And she sold it. You see, I gave Hema the benefit of the doubt. She came into media straight from Jack Warner's lap. And Trinidadians knew that. And we had to take Hema Ramkissoon with a pinch of salt. But Hema looks like she is only for Hema. Hema only care about Hema. So she knew what she was doing when she allowed the PNM to come on her show to eviscerate me, to kill the messenger, to kill the message. But they still end up in La Hoqueta Talparo on the 22nd. And Keith Rowley, no matter how you stunt, no matter how you twist and you turn, I put you there. And I want you to go in your bed tonight and lie down and think that me, with my little party and our little Nowerians, we make you have to go and account in La Hoqueta. And he ain't finished yet, bro. But anyway, let's be asking. People want to know, why has been giving CNC3 so much licks? I want to tell you why. There was a twat named Nicholas Sabga, and I know you all don't like me to attack people by name. But Nicholas Sabga, I spoke to Nicholas Sabga on the phone, and we were discussing the possibility of doing a show on CNC3. And Nicholas Sabga said, but Philip, you know you just attack the family. Once anybody attacking the family, they can't get on CNC3. And then I realized that the public airwaves that Sabga rents is for Sabga's glorification. That's not a news station. That is Sabga News Network. And Sabga News Network, until they have enough stones, balls, spine, backbone, courage to accept that they're not correct, that they're not right. And I want to tell you why. With all the money the Sabga family have, all them walk over in Trinidad, that they had to put up them real obscene looking little billboards to block out everybody else. Come now, man. All you do, just read history now. It must end. At some point, you're going to reach a generation that's going to snort and smoke and drug out and drunk out all the money. Don't feel it's going to be forever. No empire has lived forever. If you want a real legacy, anybody named Sabga watching me, if you want a real legacy, talk to me. Let us start to look at ways we could actually fix this country. Let us talk about ways we can actually get things together. Because between now and then, you're just stunting. And you're trying to use a public license to sanitize your brand. Come now. The whole Syrian community. Everybody know everything. You can't change history. You can't rewrite history. When you go to bed at night, bless God for the recession that wiped out the white people, and that you all had money to buy the white man house and the white man empire. We don't want to hear that. You want to pretend that somehow. Anyway, this is not to give all your licks, but it's to tell that little twat Nicholas Sabga, who is now the managing director of a sinking ship. I keep telling you all, CNC3 and Guardian Media not seeing 2019. They're not. No matter how much bad mind keep propping it up and paying the bills with left pocket to right pocket money, nobody watching the station, nobody buying the paper. You done lost, you done bust. At some point, you have to realize that the slow demotion of the last employees, Samson Anton and Shelley Das, because the whole place empty, it's just them two. And the slow demotion of them, and plugging in Nicholas Sabga, the BBC man leave and gone. You have nothing here for him. He leave and gone. And the slow sitting down and the accountants telling you, well, we're spending so much million in newspaper. If we cut off a quarter inch on the width and a quarter inch on the height, we will save. You cannot increase your sales. You cannot increase your advertising. It's over. The ship is sinking. And you have to, at some point, understand and take responsibility. You know why? Because you fooled the people for too long. Guardian Media became the Janet of St. Vincent Street. Guardian Media stopped being the guardian of democracy a long time ago. A long time ago. When Jones P. Madeira was allowed to insult every person of East Indian descent in this country with his still disgusting chutney rising, when Basleo Pandey was elected, appointed Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. That disgusting headline will be the tombstone on Guardian Media, chutney rising. And you see, and I want to keep putting these things front and center. This is a 2x4 country, you know, but it's my country. My country. And to the PNM stunters, because I get a message, we want to know how you're doing so well, Phil, how you make your money. All you feel is just lawyers for kickback briefs and drug importers and money launderers supposed to make it in Trinidad. Anyway, I want to boast and I want to say, but do all the thing now. Come at me, or let's send a message, or you have a file, bring your file. Nobody in this country is as public as me. I am open. I am upfront. Everybody have my phone number. My social media open to the world. You can walk up to me anywhere and talk to me. I go on the radio. I am the only politician that goes on the radio and goes on the TV and tell them, open the lines now, man. Let the people call in. I hear. So if you want the bus files, come with it now, man. I have files too. I have powder dry. As my partner Ian is telling me, keep some powder dry. They have 2 mark. I want the bus March the 10th. Michael Kwamena, brother, I'm calling you out. Come la hoketa talparo. Because you, me, and the Integrity Commission had a talk. Come la hoketa talparo. If you want to play game for game, Camille Robinson Regis, they have a hierarchy of PNM attack dogs. It starts with the fake profiles and the aliases, and then there's reach the Rhoda Barretts, and the Dane Wilsons, and the Inchan Ishmaels. And when you slap all of them up, when you pelt all of them away, it's how to reach the Fitzgerald Hineses and the Camille Robinson Regis. That's the level I had now. It's only a matter of time before it capitulates. One more step. Faris and Stewart. But you see Camille. Even though Chantal Mondi tell me, every time I attack you for your weave, everybody with a weave take it personally. But I know plenty of women with weave, and they tell me, Philip, that is bullshit. Because none of we get we weave state-sponsored. All of we spending we money for we weave. Camille Robinson Regis takes state money to pay for her weave, and that is an insult to the nation. That is the same Camille Robinson Regis who takes state money on a state credit card to pay for her fertility treatment. But like the PNM treasurer who took Clico money and bought Home Mortgage Bank when Home Mortgage Bank was not for sale, himself to himself for himself. And when he got caught, he said, oops. Camille said, oops, I didn't know that a state credit card couldn't pay to wax my ovaries. She said so to the nation. The same Camille Robinson Regis walking in the bank, FCB, because it is a local bank. We could tell only what we want with a bag of money. $140,000 in cash. So the bank manager, with all due respect, had to say to her, ma'am, there is something called the Financial Intelligence Unit. And I have a responsibility to account for every dollar that comes in to this bank. And you're bringing in $140,000 in cash, which is very suspect. In a nation of cocaine traffickers, money launderers, political corrupt kickbacks, we have to ask you, ma'am, where did you get this $140,000 cash in a brown paper bag? You know, I don't know what to call her, blame Republic Bank. She said, I close an account in Republic Bank and I take out my money in a brown bag. The man said, no, ma'am, you can't say that. Republic Bank wasn't giving you a brown bag of money. It was the responsibility of the manager of Republic Bank to tell you, one, if you walk out of here with a brown bag with $140,000 in it, you risk getting it stolen. And two, according to the FIU regulations, you need proof, source of funds. If you come with a Republic Bank banker's check from Republic Bank to First Citizen Bank, nobody can tell you nothing. But if you walk with a brown bag of money, it's something else. To this day, she has not been arrested, charged, investigated, prosecuted. Bandit Rowley and the rest of the bandit clan sanitize it for her. Landate and Cleaver Heights sanitize it for her. Like my boy Wentin La Hoketa to say, forget the fact that Maxi Coffee Brain dead. Now come into that, you know, we're going to deal with the right thing. Forget the fact that Maxi Coffee Brain dead, you know. Forget the fact that there is no neurosurgeon practicing on planet Earth, maybe in North Korea, who would give Maxi Coffee, who is, if he not brain dead, very close to brain dead, a fit for work certificate. And without a fit for work certificate, if the Speaker of the House of Representatives allows Maxi Coffee through those doors, the Speaker of the House would be committing a crime, fraud, misbehavior in public office. And the Speaker of the House, we've told her, we are taking her to task for every time she has extended the leave of absence for Maxi Coffee without a proof of life and a fit for work. She has been engaging in a conspiracy to defraud the people of Trinidad and Tobago every time Maxi Coffee get a salary. Because Maxi Day done. Maxi, they say weekend at Bernie's. You can't prop him up with a broomstick, put him on a roller skate and roll him into the parliament. This is the nation's highest office, and we may be a dot, but it is our dot. And while you are passing through, Madam Speaker, don't do no wrong. Prove to this nation that you have an understanding of why you have that job. And the role and responsibility of the Speaker of the House is to bring the House to order. Right now, with everything surrounding Maxi Coffee, that House is in disorder, odium and disrepute. And the Speaker of the House has questions to answer. But let me move on, because time have a way of running out when Philip talking too much. And I want to deal with this issue of the right thing. So we're going to segue. I like giving you all new words, you know. I like giving Fitzgerald Hines things to go on Google. We're going to segue into the right thing. You all know that Trinidad justice system has been discussed in the British Parliament. Who have referred to it as grindingly slow. The British Parliament has referred to Trinidad's justice system. They say, Mr. Speaker, we've been trying to engage local law enforcement, but the matter has been adjourned in Trinidad courts 26 times. This is not the matter itself yet, you know. This is the matter before the matter. But Stunterman Rowley went in to La Hoqueta. You see the charge of everybody, they charge the garbage truck driver. In Trinidad, this place, airplane is a papi show now, boy. A papi show, boy. This place, airplane is a papi show. I'm looking for something to give. Kid Rowley went to La Hoqueta Talparo to tell the people of La Hoqueta Talparo that forget Maxi. UNC members took a $500 million bribe. And he got a ooh. And he got a ah. There was an ooh. There was an ah. And hubris took Keith Rowley where his intelligence could not keep him. He found himself in deep water where he couldn't tread. And he made a statement that I am waiting to hear the Commissioner of Police's response. to that statement. And I'm waiting to hear that. He said, this is what the Express put in their papers, published by Anna Ramdas of the Multimedia Desk on February 23rd, 2018 at 1:23 p.m. I have proof UNC ministers took bribes. I like that. You got my interest. Because we gotta go after them. Somebody tell me something. They say, PNM going to La Hocketa tonight. UNC afraid to go there because it's live sports friends from Karapo would show up. That funny. Rowley. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said he has evidence that former United National Congress ministers received bribes when in office. The conversation done day. You tell me it's 460 million, that's a $500 million more with interest, but I'm not even going in there. I don't want to ooh, I don't want to ah. But if they thief a tin of corned beef and a bag of cricks, the system has just put a train on the tracks. Let me tell you what I mean. Because Faris Al-Rawi, as officer of the court, chief custodian of the nation's laws, and attorney general, now has a responsibility to caution the prime minister. This is what the attorney general's job is now. Keith Rowley, Doctor of Rocks, is surrounded by two world-class shitong lawyers, Stuart Young and Faris Al-Rawi. But even they know that they have an obligation to caution Keith Rowley. Brother, you've just, by your words, because of the office you hold, you've just brought the police service into the thing. The commissioner of police has no choice now. Neither does the director of public prosecutions. Because the most senior public office holder in this country has said that he has evidence that the former government engaged in theft, misbehaving in public office. We're in deep, dark and murky waters. It was dark and murky, it's deep now. Keith Rowley, by his hubris, in his rush to distract from brain dead Maxi and the $2.5 million, told everybody in that audience and everybody looking on that this is not alleged. This is not rumor. This is not Movelan. This is talk. This is not something we hear. Keith Christopher Mugabe Sabga Rowley, first black Syrian, told this nation that he has evidence of a crime. And according to our law, if he does not, as the prime minister of this country, if he does not provide that evidence, he used the word evidence, he's not an ass. Well, okay, that's open for discussion. But he knows he's been in politics for 32 years. He knows that that word binds him. There's no parliamentary privilege in La Hocketa Talparo, you know, pal. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. Because you say you have evidence of a crime. You are now bound to that crime by prosecution or by conspiracy to evade prosecution. Keith Rowley is married to that issue in perpetuity until it is resolved. He cannot dust his hands of this. He is now a witness when that matter is called as someone with evidence. His role and his responsibility, his job now, is to provide that evidence to the Commissioner of Police. The Director of Public Prosecutions is supposed to be reviewing that evidence. Today is Saturday night. Keith Rowley announced that Thursday night. We may be the Royal Imperial Majestic Banana Republic of do what the hell you like land. The British Parliament may be able to say that our justice system moves grindingly slow. But it don't take 2 days for Keith Rowley to dispatch his evidence to the police. I saw evidence, pictures of the crowd. There were some khaki officers, the police officers who were present, the senior police officers, the inspectors and above. They know they have a responsibility by their presence to say, excuse me, sir, that is evidence of a crime. You need to turn it over. You need to turn it over. I'm trying to play this for you, but I'm not getting the volume I need. And this is an aside. I'm not leaving the right thing. I'm going to focus on the right thing. I'm not leaving it. But I want you to hear how my people are waking up. People who normally would just take a forward from me, click a like, hit a share. I'm just doing that now. I'm talking. Sent to me. Minister Stuart Young told us that if we had had the anti-gang legislation last Monday, the incident with its subsequent rioting would not have occurred. If he had stopped there, he'd be okay. This is where Stuart Young put his foot in his mouth. He then went on to assure us that those who took part were already known and would be prosecuted. And like I bring it up all the time, that scene from A Few Good Men, when Tom Cruise's character asks Jack Nicholson's character, if you say that when you give an order, it is followed, why give 2 orders? If you say that when you said Santiago was not to be touched, why would you need to order Santiago removed from the base? He was saying to him, your words do not line up to form truth. When Stuart Young said, if we had the anti-gang legislation, the riot would have been dealt with. Then he went on to say, but we already know who it is and they'll be prosecuted. The person asks me, if we already have laws to deal with such matters, if it is already possible to not only identify but to prosecute, why the need for the anti-crime bill? Indeed. I am having difficulty finding this story, and I don't know, today's Saturday the 24th, Friday the 23rd, Thursday the 22nd. I don't know if, because I read it in the Express, I'll give it to you verbatim from my memory. Because Keith Christopher Mugabe Sabgaroli, but I wanted to read the article for you. But what I'm telling you exists in the public space, and you have access to this information. I can't dig up no more, you know. Since we're talking and looking, some guy named Winston ran for election under the PNM government in Chaguanas. And Winston, some years back, when Keith Rowley say, when he had now get into politics, and this has guided his philosophy, I want to show you. I want to show you how this man is talk rotten nonsense. He said This guy, Winston, I'm still looking at, because he ran for the PNM, but we gotta read this one too. Because he ran for the PNM, this is what the allegation that he made, that he couldn't get employment, he was victimized in the country. Salma P, you've given me information there, but I want the article from Rowley called The Right Thing. Anybody hearing me now? Message it to me. He said, Winston, because he couldn't get a job, killed himself. He hanged himself, I believe, was the correct term. That he hanged himself, killed himself, because he couldn't get a job. And that Keith Rowley decided then that from that day forward, he was only going to do the right thing. No, that as a statement hit all the right notes with me. I touched all the warm and fuzzies. And I said, yes, he gets it. He is getting it. Do the right thing. But then he went on to say, that is why he felt certain to pick up the $2.5 million that he nor the cabinet were authorized to spend it on his daughter's father-in-law's medical bills. And he said to the people of La Hoqueta Talparo, it is your MP, and I felt that it was the right thing to do. Crowd in an uproar. The crowd in an uproar. It was the right thing. The little black man MP, gosh, he got sick. We can't help him. No. I'll tell you why it was the wrong thing. I'll tell you why it was not the right thing. I'll tell you why that is bullshit. Because everybody else family, everybody else mother, father, mother-in-law and father-in-law that's suffering in Trinidad and Tobago hospitals tonight, he helping them. They may get in cabinet to scramble money and belt it. Oh my God, do the right thing. Heal all of our people. You're not getting that. This was not for you. All of you who was in our uproar, who chanted, Master, they done. All of you who thought that this was for you, it wasn't. You're the asses. He made fools of you. Your red shirt was the noose that continues to hang you. That Kool-Aid burning you bad. Coming out your ass like pepper, and you don't understand what he did. He distracted you and fooled you with nonsense because we're spending $5 billion in healthcare in Trinidad and Tobago and we can't put a man on life support. He insulted healthcare in Trinidad and Tobago. Maxi Coffee's on life support. He didn't say we flew in a professional to work with Mount Hope. That would have been the right thing. He didn't say he consulted with regional neurosurgeons and people in the medical fraternity to assist Maxi Coffee. That would have been the right thing. He didn't say that because of Maxi Coffee's second stroke, they've identified a shortfall in the medical system in Trinidad and Tobago, and we need to be able to deal with people who suffer strokes. That would have been the right thing. He did none of that, and they have no $2.5 million sitting down in the cabinet waiting for you. So tell the nation, Keith Rowley, how does you stealing $2.5 million through the cabinet to pay for a Pumpkin Vine family member medical bills? How does that become the right thing when everybody else sucking salt and suffering? for everybody lying down on the ground, sitting down on a bench, standing up in a corridor, waiting outside. They closed the doors on a hospital this week on here. They say enough people in here. All you is to dead outside there, but we can't take all you in here. Go somewhere else, dead there, we don't care. We can't deal with y'all. But Rowley snatched up $2.5 million of your dollars and sent it to Walter Reed Hospital in Washington to pay for Maxi. Why? Why? What is the level? What is the benchmark, Keith? What does it take? Does somebody else's son have to be bullying one of your daughters to qualify for the right thing according to you, Keith? What's the right thing, Keith? What's the right thing? How do you identify the right thing? Had to be only PNM senior members? Had to be friends that friendly with you? How did you identify that stealing this $2.5 million to pay for Maxi Coffee's medical was more right than taking that same $2.5 million and making healthcare better for everybody in Trinidad and Tobago? What put Maxi Coffee's life above the life of that little girl who dared waiting while you and the UNC argued about the situation with the Children's Life Fund? That Indian girl that dared waiting for $400,000. How come you didn't do the right thing by her, Keith Rowley? How come? Maxi Coffee passed his sell-by date well within his expiry period. Could dead now and have had a life. How is it the right thing to take money? In the United States, Maxi Coffee couldn't qualify to be put on a transplant list if it was kidney, lungs, anything else. Couldn't qualify because of his age. It doesn't make sense anymore that there is a limit. That there is a limit of time. There is only so many organs that become available. So they have to be cautious. And they have a panel that meets in every hospital. There is an entire panel that meets to discuss the best use of medical resources in situations where medical resources are limited. I put to the people of Trinidad and Tobago that on the 22nd of February in La Joqueta, Talparo, Keith Rowley explained to Trinidad and Tobago citizens in no uncertain terms that there is one rule for some and another rule for others, with a scathing indictment against our healthcare system, which clearly is the wrong thing. He took money that he had no authority to take and spent it on Maxi Coffee, calling that the right thing. There was nothing right about that. The entire fiasco surrounding Maxi Coffee has been nothing short of a sham and an insult to the people of this country. You did not come straight with them. You called the massive stroke he suffered a medical episode. And you sent him to Sinclair. And Sinclair Medical tell you they have nothing we could do for this man. Nothing. Sinclair Medical Center sent to tell you there is nothing. Put his affairs in order. And you grab him and people money and you send him out to foreign to shake chicken bone around him. Keep him on life support so that you could hide an entire vote in the parliament. You know that if you call a by-election, there is every likelihood that you are going to lose. The people of Trinidad and Tobago are so desperate to see the back of you and the mocking pretenders, that band of malcontents you call a government. The people are so in a hurry that if you call an election, people start voting 2 days in advance. They find a polling station and they line up. Open the doors. But it's 3 more days to the election. We waited. And you know that. You know that. And Kamala can't call for the election either. Because the information on the ground is under no circumstances. And you know that there is a good chance when you call that by-election that a third-party candidate is going to end up in the House of Representatives. And you are frightfully aware of the power of one Progressive Empowerment Party voice among the 40 others, because you know that that would be the beginning of the end of tribal, racist, corrupt politics in Trinidad and Tobago. You are well aware. They are well aware. You went to Hoketa to lie to the country, and you've stolen the people's money, and you justified that theft as if Maxi Coffee was more important than everybody else, mother, father, and child. But he isn't. You are a failure, Keith Rowley. Your Ministry of Health, your Minister of Health, you and the UNC, the PNM and the UNC have tag-teamed this nation. The same bandits that making money, that stealing money through high-class contracts, through the health sector, under the PNM, they're doing it under the UNC. Them spending money. Look at 20 million for you is election time. Look at 20 million for you. Whichever one or all you win, I take in $1 billion. And that's what's been going on. That's what's been going on in Trinidad and Tobago. And the time for that to end has come. The people have demanded. Today, Saturday, when I pulled up at 11 o'clock, outside the Progressive Empowerment Party headquarters, the road was empty. And on a Saturday morning, that road is be packed because the church up on the corners have a lot of people early in the morning, and then it's hand over to the BAP. At 11 o'clock, the meeting was to start at 12. The road was completely empty and the sky was black and rain was falling. And I walked into the meeting and a couple of people that were there, and I said, well, if rain busts the church, rain busts in our meeting today too. And by 12:15, 15 minutes after the meeting was supposed to start, we were already at standing room only. People had spilled over into the second room. The Progressive Empowerment Party, what you see is the tip of the iceberg. The support for this political organization runs deep, and it runs strong, and it is shaking like a political earthquake. And all the talk they want to talk, and all the attack they want to attack Philip Alexander, it's not making a difference. The people are saying enough. The people are fed up. They want a change.
Progress is impossible without change. Those who can't change their minds can't change anything. You can't change what's going on around you. Until you start changing,
they want education that delivers.
You
they
must
want
be the
first
change
world health
you wish
care
to
for their
see.
family. They want national security, social development. They want a country that works. You ain't delivering it.
If you can look as far as I see, within this great land we call TNT, there's birds and bees, rivers and seas, pretty woman bringing man to their knees. Treasures of this blessed land we always neglect like ISO and pan. I find it so strange the way we arrange. Still this nation don't know how to change. To some change it might just mean a new car. Change could mean less than $1. To most change have this nice scent we usually get from the government. You see, change is something we always say, but every time we change things remain the same way. Things keep getting worse and worse, so this is what I propose. Let's change the change for a better nation. Change the change for all foundations. Change the change so that we could say that this nation here came from quite down there. I say change the change within the school systems. Stop changing ministers and change what we teach them. Because things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you. Yeah, yeah.
Speaker, almost 2 years ago, my constituent Adrian St. John was murdered in Trinidad. Since then, his mother Sharon and I have been working with ministers and officials in both countries to try to secure justice, but progress has been grindingly slow. The case in Trinidad has been adjourned now 27 times. Will the government ensure Adrian's murder is on the agenda when the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago visits London in April? And will ministers allow time during Mr. Rowley's official visit to meet with Sharon and I to help her secure justice?
The honourable gentleman for the manner in which he's defending the interests of his constituent. I'm acutely aware of this case where Adrian was murdered in Trinidad, and we can't interfere in the judicial process, but we are extending every possible support we can, and I can advise the House that we understand that a preliminary trial to determine if there is sufficient evidence to charge the accused with murder will be held on the 8th of March, and I hope this will mark some progress in what he's seeking.
In the 7th
27 times the preliminary inquiry. We ain't even reached the trial yet, you know.
Is murders, killings galore, so much gunmen fighting meaningless war. Can't tell you stay, can't tell you go, cause this still the land we used to know. Homeless, every corner you meet, and they complimented by our dirty streets. Then we wonder why in our sister isle, why they don't like Trinis to come and spend time. When you see change is much more than paving an old road, and change is greater than fixing a lamp pole. Change is about the whole nation and how we are portrayed when the party done. Who set these standards in my TNT? I really wish somebody here could tell me. It's just the same thing again and again, like we leaders don't use the brain. So change within our country. Change so the whole world could see. Change for a better future, so we don't have to depend on our next mayor. Say change within the society, otherwise we'll have a bandit factory. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you. Yeah.
So, what do we do? We know that the Progressive Empowerment Party was correct from the word go to ask for transparency and accountability in all circumstances surrounding Member of Parliament Maxi Coffee. We know now that the information already available in the public space, the Prime Minister has shown that he and his senior government ministers, Fitzgerald Hinds and Stuart Young, have lied to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Now we're told as an aside that Maxi will be back in Trinidad for Easter. He was coming for Christmas, he was coming for Carnival, now he coming for Easter. Why it sound like he traveling for holidays? I don't know. But now they say Easter. Maxi Coffee coming to Trinidad. For what? Not to work. Can't work. Can't go in the house. He can't go in the house because we will challenge that. He cannot go in the House of Representatives. It would be an injustice to Maxi Coffee. But we wait to see what they try to do with the stunt. We also know that the Prime Minister admitted to the nation that without proper health care information, he and his government defrauded the House. Every time they extended the leave for Maxi Coffee, not the Speaker, not the Prime Minister, not the opposition leader, nobody was aware of the condition, the factual situation of Maxi Coffee. Worse, the Prime Minister is relying on family members of Maxi Coffee to tell him how much money they need from the Treasury. $2.5 million that they admit to. I am telling you, it is more like $4 million. And you will see, it costs this nation $12,000 a day. Where they have Maxi Coffee now, Maxi Coffee don't deserve to be there. They've told them, put this man affairs in order. You are artificially maintaining life. Even if you get to stunt him for a week, he will come to Trinidad and drop down dead. He will end up a vegetable. He cannot make any real contribution to anything. He is already at rest in peace, let the man rest. But you're taking $12,000 a day at a time when we need that money, and you're wasting it trying to defend the indefensible, creating a situation and setting false precedent. When they tell you about Patrick Manning and his stroke, the situation is not the same, but even that was wrong. The House of Representatives is not a Christmas tree. The House of Representatives is not a candy bowl. The House of Representatives is the space where the people of Trinidad and Tobago are represented in government. And when a member of parliament for any constituency is incapacitated or incapable of doing the job, the Speaker of the House of Representatives has one job. One job. Declare that seat vacant. And the Speaker of the House of Representatives in our Trinidad and Tobago Parliament has failed every time she granted an extension to Maxi Coffee and the government. She failed the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And now the Prime Minister has admitted that he and the Cabinet conspired to defraud the people of Trinidad and Tobago $2.5 million that they had no authority to spend. This is not about saying oops and putting the money back. This is about a criminal act that if you weren't found out and exposed, you would have gotten away with. This is action for police. This is time for charges to be laid. Like Gregory Hannes, senior tax partner in Ernst & Young, still to this date has not been charged. Like Howard Chinley, wife, and Howard, who interfered in a police investigation, to this day has not been charged. The police service has to understand that law and order requires law enforcement but social order. The people must believe and trust that the law is for all and not for some. We are in deep, dark and murky waters. We cannot continue to operate the great nation of Trinidad and Tobago as a banana republic. We cannot have it as a feeding trough and a fiefdom. We cannot continue to exchange PNM and UNC for PNM nonsense and UNC foolishness. We cannot continue to describe what we accept as governance and measure it in box drains and tall buildings. We've been made asses of. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have to now clean this mess up. We have to go in there and say this is no longer acceptable. It is time for a government for the people. For the people. That means every action taken assists, benefits the people. From the people. That means it must be people that are representative of the people on the ground, and of the people it must understand what the people want their country to do. Somebody asked, when was the last time you spoke to your MP? I asked, when was the last time your MP spoke to you? The truth of the matter is, we cannot continue to live in a country where parliament and government treats the public as if they don't matter. Parliament is a representative of the people. Government is a function of parliament. According to the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the people own the house. The people own the seat. The people of La Joqueta, Talparo owns the seat that Maxi Coffee sits on. And it is time now that the people of Trinidad and Tobago got the representation that they deserve. Make no mistake, this is the time now for us to get together as a people. This is the time for us to get together as a people, one people under one flag, and demand proper government, demand representation of the people in our parliament. What goes on there, what continues to go on there is a farce. It is a sideshow, it is theater, it is a circus, and it is no longer acceptable.
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want to be. Your vote can foretell our country's fate. Move and use it well before it's too late. If it is that who you're voting, fail beyond a doubt. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is they prove it to be your full amount. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the time it's now that again. Let's put our country together again. Put them out of power, dominate their reign. Let's put our country together again.
You cannot or will not finish the existing HDC houses, but are starting new housing projects. You cannot finish the existing highways under construction, but you are starting new ones. You cannot operate the ports we already have, but are hell-bent on building a new port for no reason other than to enrich those among your friends and financier ranks who purchase land in Toko to sell back to the state at obscene premium profits. You speak about theft under the previous administrations while turning a blind eye to the theft taking place in yours. The buildings in the picture, and we put up a picture of HDC in Couva, have been under construction since Patrick Manning was in office more than 15 years ago, yet you ignore them as they serve no purpose to you. Not only have millions of dollars of the people's funds already been wasted, but that they continue to waste as you engage another fool's errand seems to be of no concern whatsoever to you. Your legacy of contempt for the environment, evident by the rape of the protected Aripo forest, is about to be doubled down as you raise to the ground food-bearing tree stalks at the National Nursery to vote upon a marginal seat with more ghetto complexes. You call a meeting in the constituency of a morbidly ill member of parliament and use it to continue the rules. You pretend that he is in recovery and can return to work while every medical professional in existence claims it physically impossible. The fact that neither you nor anyone else can offer video or pictorial evidence of the condition of the man screams to the real condition of the man. But that does not matter when you can take to the stage and make more salacious allegations as distraction and accusations that will go nowhere in this land where nothing works. Is it any wonder then that the attendance was so small, or that it had to be augmented by bussed-in crowds, or that despite being paid to attend, the vast majority did not look happy to be there? Perhaps you might be overestimating the power of the tribal vote to keep you where outright lies deceit and financier dollars put you. Your contempt for the principles of decency has run the ship of state aground. The people have never been more confused or concerned. Fear and mistrust is at an all-time high, as are violent crime, murder, mental illnesses, and suicide. If you had set out to destroy Trinidad and Tobago, Keith Rowley, then I would have to say that you are succeeding.
is a fallacy. Bureaucracy, a catastrophe. If they cannot cope, and you see it so, then your only hope is for them to go. If it is fabrication, these statements that they spout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. If it is that frustration that's make you want to shout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. Before they misuse out, deep out, out and digs out. If it you, vote them in, vote them out. Register and vote them out. All of them, vote them out. Stick your finger and vote them out. Them on the system, vote them out. Vote them out in Scarborough and in Port of Spain. Let's put our country together again. Vote them out in Comuto and in Laromet. Let's put our country together again.
Jobs, a national jobs program. Government involved in ensuring that jobs exist for all. We have foreign ambassadors and high commissioners who do nothing but stunt and clink glasses. There is no purpose for them other than to be selling Trinidad and Tobago to the world and to be bringing foreign direct investment outside of the energy sector to Trinidad so that all of our people could become gainfully employed. If they are not doing that, you are failing at your job. Our healthcare sector is a disaster out of the mouth of the Prime Minister. If the right thing is to snatch $2.5 million to pay for somebody else to get medical treatment abroad, it means that health in Trinidad and Tobago, the health sector in Trinidad and Tobago is the wrong thing. The Progressive Empowerment Party advocates for a decentralization of healthcare to the 41 constituencies through the creation of 41 24-hour, 7-day-a-week accident and emergency centers, complete with minor surgery suite that could treat with stabilizing and managing stroke, heart attack, gunshot dismemberment, stab wounds, the usual suspects of things that would take somebody to an emergency room, as well as offer medical services to the family for flus, viruses, also offering for people who need to come in and get medical certificates for their food badge, etc. It can happen in your constituency. You don't have to take the whole day off. It is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can go 3 o'clock in the evening on a Sunday and get your food badge. That is progressive, empowering government. That is government that works. Think about the impact in this country if all 200,000 students, children who were at school had access to the same first world professional prestige education. Imagine the impact on the country. Imagine the impact on the economy when they start to graduate out. All of our children, regardless of where they come from, in Trinidad and Tobago, regardless of the color of their skin or who their father and mother is, all of them coming out with the right degrees, the right passes, the right chances to engage the world, to springboard into a life of hope and opportunity. Imagine this country into a PEP government. Imagine this country with a maritime security wall preventing human trafficking, preventing drug smuggling, preventing the importation of illegal arms and ammunition. Imagine this country with a foreign team organizing and operating our internal affairs in our Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to identify the rogue and criminal elements among the ranks so that we could suspend and remove them from active duty and begin the process of prosecuting them for criminal activity while working with the remaining law-abiding, hard-working police officers and give them motivation and incentive to get the job done. Imagine this country then. Imagine this country when a father and a mother, minimum wage earners, could afford a starter home on a minimum wage salary, 0 deposit, 0 interest up to 30 years, for first-time homeowners up to $1.5 million. That policy alone, if we do one thing, that policy alone changes this country and gives all of our people a stake in their nation, makes shareholders of every citizen, creates the opportunity for families to thrive, and to be crucibles of development once again. We don't have that now. We have a transient community living like worker bees and slaves and renters. They have nothing. A member stood up today, Limoy, and she said, I work for good money and I feel like I'm running on a treadmill. I am wondering where this money goes at the end of the month. People can't afford to live. They can't afford to live in this country. Our food prices are ridiculous, held artificially high by gouging importers that pay governments not to grow food. Clarence Rambarat and Vasant Bharat have questions to answer as to why the Ministry of Agriculture is not a Ministry of Food Production, why we are not yet having as a national goal food independence. I have been telling Trinidad and Tobago for over a year now, food independence is the only independence that will have any value in this world soon. We have a lot of things that we don't even get to talk about, international issues, and the impact those international issues are going to have on our country. We're not talking about rise in sea levels and global warming, but it is a real thing. The climate meeting, the senior scientists just said, you know what? Only just enjoy the next couple generations because the world is in trouble. And we're not understanding that there is a large portion of fresh water frozen solid in ice. And because it is frozen solid miles high in ice, it has the world's sea level to what it is now. Like a glass of water, like this cup of water, if I pour more water into it, at some point it will flow over. Just now, the shores, we are losing Mayaro. You see the money we had to spend to build that wall to protect Mayaro Road, Manzanilla Road. It's only a matter of time before the waves breach that. We don't even get to discuss those things. We don't get to discuss the impact of global conflict. There have a lot of saber rattling going on in the world. What happens if due to climate change there is a drought? What happens if the world can't rely on America and China to feed it? What happens? Where do we import our food from if there is no food left to import? Why aren't we focusing on, as a national goal, food self-sufficiency, food independence as job one? Why aren't we doing that? It is time to vote yourself a government that is not here to ride your back and pick your pockets. It is time to vote a government with vision into office, with plans, programs, policies and ideas designed like a rising tide to lift all boats. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have to decide, are we really living with one foot in a next man's land? Are we really hoping to get a chance to escape? Or would we like to fix Trinidad and Tobago, the best nation in the world, and make it the paradise on earth it was meant to be? We have the power to decide what is done in our name. Keith Rowley, whoever is the president, whoever is the DPP, whoever is the Chief Justice, whoever is the opposition leader, your tax dollars pay their salaries. The Constitution of the Republic, before it recognizes any office holder or office, recognizes the people first. The people of Trinidad and Tobago have all the authority, have all the power, and we've been divided and set apart and distracted with foolishness. It is time to bring all of that to an end. When we say one people under one flag, we're not saying Doglarize the nation. We're saying celebrate your culture, celebrate your identity, celebrate your family, but come together as one people. This is our country. And if we cannot learn how to swim together, we're going to drown alone. Mark that. Until we speak again, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.